Hi everybody, it's Ann Patchett and Elyse Adler and Nemo Van Devender at Parnassus Books. One thing I want you to know right away is I am still going to be doing the Friday New to You videos. I am trying to get other booksellers involved, but ease up. I'm going to be there. I'm not leaving you. And we are changing things up today because all the books that Elyse and I both wanted to talk about today, we both read. So we're going to do this together. We are reading partners. What doesn't change is if you're interested in buying any of these books, you go to our new releases page and they'll all be there for you.
Which is not to be confused with the new Elyse's page.
You got a page?
No.
You should go
to new releases.
Go to new releases. So this book came out 2 weeks ago, The Bookshop by Evan Fresh, but I actually read it last night because I read it over the weekend because I did a Zoom event with him last night. And the book was great.
So I'm about 3/4 of the way through. Someone at the store said, well, did you read the end? Because Parnassus is at the end.
A lot.
And I thought, I was brought up in a household where we had to eat gruel. If we went to the end of a book before actually getting there chronologically, we were punished.
And do you know how my mother read every book? And I'm not joking. She would pick up the book and then she would just open it to the back and read the last page. No matter what it was, The Godfather, she read the end.
Okay,
first.
Everybody's family is different.
So this is
It's a page turner.
It is, and it's about the history of the American bookstore. You wouldn't necessarily think that it was a page turner. And it's on the New York Times bestseller list. Who knew? Everybody wants to read about bookstores.
It's interesting. You learn a lot. I mean, I was surprised, and I love it.
And the last chapter is all about Parnassus, and I have to say, the details about me are super inappropriate and made me uncomfortable. So look forward to that. All right?
Yeah, that's.
But I loved the book, except for the parts about me. Volcano Daughters.
Yeah, Gina Maria Bellabrera. This book, I loved this book. It was a challenge. I had to be in a very quiet place. I had to focus. There's a lot of Spanish. There's a lot of, is it like magical
realism?
Yes.
And there are a lot of people.
There's a lot
ton of characters.
And some of them are ghosts.
A lot of them are dead.
And after I was done with it, I was so glad that I sat there and I focused and I read it and I loved it.
It's a beautiful and ambitious novel. I highly recommend.
There Are Rivers in the Sky, Ella Shafak. This to me was like reading on a wave. It's an extraordinary book. She's a brilliant, brilliant writer. It's centuries ago, it's current.
It's not only Dickensian in its structure. Dickens is actually a character in the book, and it spans many different points in time. Mm-hmm. Again, all around publishing, books, printing, rivers, moving back and forth, seeing how the past is connected. We're boring the dog. We need to speed it up.
I think the dog liked it. Yeah. Okay.
You think he did?
Oh. Yeah, I think that was, I love this book. Okay.
Iris. Iris Apfel, colorful. Boy, howdy, was she ever. She was a true American hero, style icon, and this beautiful book about her life and her fashion choices. There were retrospection at the Metropolitan, I believe. Okay, Nemo loved it too. Beautiful book about a beautiful life. Jodi Picoult, by any other name. Speaking of a beautiful book, look how pretty this is. What do we know about Jodi?
Well, actually, I should be talking about events. And we have a fabulous event with Jodi, and I know it's going to be fabulous because she's so fabulous.
She is fabulous.
It's at Massey Performing Arts Center on Belmont University's campus. It is not sold out, but it is close to selling out. So I encourage you all, if you haven't gotten tickets, if you love Jodi, get your tickets now. So that is on Friday. It starts at 6:30, and this is by any other name.
The woman who actually wrote Shakespeare's plays.
Right, so this is another book where there's a centuries difference in the characters. There's a woman who, maybe she wrote all Shakespeare's plays, and a woman in current day, and they both have to kind of live their lives under another name.
How Jodi manages to turn out these big, smart, well-written bestsellers again and again. You're just making the rest of us look bad, Jody. Thanks. And what you got?
Okay, so gather round. I know every Saturday I say I adore this book.
Every Saturday.
Well, about the Saturday story times. I say it on Tuesdays, I guess, but it's about the Saturday story time, and this is no different. This is David Koval, who is the author and the illustrator of Gather Round, and it is just, he is a beautiful writer. It's a musically written book. There's a lot of rhythm to it, which is really my favorite thing.
And there's a dog.
And there is a dog, and it's about building a campfire and how campfires are very much like people. We need air to breathe, and it takes a village, and it's really beautiful. And he's going to be here Saturday at 10:30, and I hope you will be as well.
We covered so much ground, but now we are turning you over to the fantastic Lindsay Lynch.
Hello. So last week we were missing a couple of new releases, so there are some that I want to work in and give a highlight to, especially Peggy. This is a book that was mostly completed by Rebecca Godfrey. She passed away. Her dear friend, the wonderful writer Leslie Jameson, stepped in and finished the book. People who know me know that I am obsessed with art history. I'm a major art history nerd. Peggy Guggenheim is my hero. I love to read about Peggy Guggenheim. This is a beautiful novel. It is a fictionalization of her life. I am so excited about this book. It's absolutely gorgeous. Learn about art history. It's my favorite thing. You'll make me happy. If you are a subscriber to the Love Parnassus subscription box, you will be receiving a copy of Love and Other Conspiracies by Mallory Marlowe. This one follows a paranormal conspiracy theorist and a web series producer whose job is on the line. Will they fall in love? Yes. Will it be spooky? Yes. For fans of William Kent Kruger's Cork O'Connor mystery series, the 20th book in that series is out today, Spirit Crossing. Another book that came out last week that we didn't have on hand to show off to y'all is a debut. I love to shout out debuts. This is The Snap by Elizabeth Staple. I don't care much about sports, but I do care about structures of power and women existing within those structures. This is a woman who takes on the football industry. Elizabeth Staple has worked in the football industry herself. She's worked in PR. I am so excited to read this one. I love poetry. You say I don't talk about nonfiction. Talking about poetry, it's close enough. I have loved Ineza Smith's poetry for a long time. His latest is Bluff. This one covers everything from love, drag queens. It's so good. I'm also gonna shout out Iris Apfel because look how beautiful this book is. Okay, I opened to a page that wasn't that pretty, but look how pretty this book is. Celebrate Iris, she's the best. And turning it over to Rayanne. No, it's Kat.
Hey, I'm Kat, and I'm here to talk about some kids' books and picture books and YA books. First up, we have The Ship in the Window. This is such a beautifully illustrated book about a little mouse who sees a boat, like a model ship in a window that a dad built with lots of love, and he built it all by himself, and she wants to be the captain of it. So she decides that she's going to. Will it float? Will she take it out on the water? Yeah, she will. What Can a Mess Make? B. Johnson. This is such a sweet book about two siblings who end up making a huge mess, but it's all in the name of fun and making memories and making food that's really messy and making forts and doing all the really great things in childhood. It's such a sweet read. And then in a bit of a longer picture book for some advancing readers, Catherine Rundell and Sarah Ogilvy, we have The Zebra's Great Escape. A little girl who's a bit of a wild child ends up meeting a zebra, and it can communicate with her through colors. Bear with me. She then is also able to communicate with her dog. The zebra has been separated from his parents by a very bad person, and so she and the zebra and her dog must find his parents, and they go on this fantastic adventure, and the illustrations are beautiful, and it's such a sweet story about a girl not accepting what should be and making the world better. And in middle grade, we have Kingdom of Dust, Lisa Stringfellow. In a world where a once lush land is now desert, a young girl starts to suspect that she might have something to do with the loss of magic and rain and has to go on an adventure to find out what happened. Keeper of the Wren, Lisa Maxwell. This is a really great story about a young boy who is a big bird fan, ends up having to move out to the country and meets a young girl who is maybe herding birds, but they're not actual birds. There's a magical element to this. There's a wren in the sky, and the birds are not actually good. And so he and his new friend have to save the world. And in the follow-up to Swift Dictionary of Scoundrels, we have The Swifts, a gallery of rogues. Shenanigan Swift has to go to Paris and find a missing piece of art, hence the rogues who stole the art. And she is such a fun character, and you get to go to Paris. And then you get to stay in Paris with a YA romance. Love Requires Chocolate, Raven K. Stringfield. This is a really cute story about a girl who goes on a semester abroad. She ends up getting a French tutor who is also a really hot soccer star. And they have a little burgeoning romance in the City of Lights as he shows her around his Paris. And then in a bit of a horror twist in YA, we have House of Thorns, Isabel Strickich. A young girl, she and her 3 sisters were so close, and one of the sisters disappeared years ago, and they never saw her since. They've moved away from their ancestral manor, and she and her remaining sister end up having to try and find out what happens. It's very spooky. That's all for today. Thanks so much for reading.